Laura Baker Services Association is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. 97% of our revenue comes from county, state, and federal government sources. This includes Medicaid, which largely supports our client care services. Operating expenses for our school come from the various host school districts of each student. The cost of serving a client here depends upon the level of services they require. But on average, public funding leaves us with a $2,000 gap per client per year to fill through fundraising.
People with developmental disabilities typically receive some kind of government services and fee reimbursement. So the government decides, okay, you have developmental disabilities, you will get this much money a month to live at Laura Baker. And that covers boarding and food, basically, and some health, medical, and a little bit of transportation. And then what I like to call the gap exists between what we get reimbursed and what it actually costs to serve one of our clients.
In addition to the $2,000 gap, we need to find funding for many capital improvements to our facilities, such as renovations, which are now needed at two of our Oak Street campus residential buildings, Baker and Elwell.
Hi, I'm Noel Stratmon. I take care of the buildings and grounds at Laura Baker School and have been doing it since 1998. We're standing in front of Baker House, the home of 7 residents. Baker House is identical to the building next door, which is Elwell. Both buildings were built in the early 80s and are identical and served the needs of the residents for many years, but are now beginning to show some wear. Furthermore, certain energy construction features that were appropriate when the buildings were built are no longer appropriate to meet the state code and need to be changed. I want to show you what some of those issues are. Let's go inside. Let's talk first about insulation. Back when the building was built, they chose not to put insulation because the heating costs were approximately 10% of what they are today. What we need to do is fur out the walls, sheetrock it, and then paint, and then trim where the windows and doors meet the new walls. Let's talk next about windows. This window is high-impact plastic with aluminum frame. When the cold winter weather hits that frame, moisture forms on the inside, condenses, and runs down the window and the frame, settling on the windowsill. And that's an unfortunate situation because it's a place where mold will form. The solution is to replace the windows and replace the windowsill. There are several plumbing problems that I'd like to bring to your attention. Let's talk first about the one that's covered up with a plastic wrap and a clamp. The water flowing through the pipe cavitates at that elbow and deteriorates the pipe. And so the pipe has sprung a leak, and you can see the damage in the ceiling from that. That happened on a weekend recently, and fortunately the staff were alert and called it to our attention. We could have it repaired. Heating of each of the rooms is served by this hot water boiler. Water flows from this boiler up through the plumbing pipes and down through the floor. Now those pipes are insulated because they go through the concrete, but beyond that the pipes are not insulated, so that there's a tremendous heat loss between the boiler and the cast iron radiator of each room. Hot water for the resident showers and sinks comes from this central mechanical room too. When the water heater was installed, the 60-gallon water heater was set at approximately 130 degrees and was sufficient for showers, baths, washing clothes, washing dishes, and so on. Now the state code is that water cannot be over 110 degrees, and so we frequently run out of hot water because there simply is not enough capacity. Another problem with the water temperature is that when you use 110 degree water, it's not sufficient for the dishwasher to be able to scald the dishes. So an internal feature locks out the cycle until it has reached that temperature, and sometimes it takes an hour to get the water temperature up to a safe sanitary condition. The same is true for the washing machines, and we would need 2 loops to solve the problem, one at a higher temperature and one again at the 110 degree temperature. Another deficiency of the water supply system is that the supply lines for each of the sinks and showers are underground lines, and so there is a tremendous amount of heat loss during the wintertime when the ground is cold, sometimes up to 30 and 40 and 50 degrees, and it sometimes takes up to 8 minutes for the water to be comfortable for a shower. The doors are made of steel front and back. They are glued together with construction adhesive in this seam right here. That is a weakness because it's deteriorating with age. Furthermore, the weakest part of the door is right here, and many of the doors have broke through here. I replaced it with an angle iron, but you notice when I close the door, the top is closed nearly, but the bottom is still open by 2 inches. The door is sprung that much. Use of space is not efficient, nor always client-friendly. Currently, 2 residents share the same bathroom and the same toilet facilities. That's an issue of privacy and safety. And while we're in the bathroom, let me point out one other thing. You can see the rust on the metal door frame. It's up as high as about 4 feet here, and it's pretty severe as we go on down. The door frames are metal, and they really need to be replaced because near the very bottom, they are corroded to the point that you could stick this pointed object actually into the material a little ways, and there's no strength down here at all. When the 2 buildings were built, this wall intended to be a point of separation between what happens in the lounge and what happens in the kitchen. But now it's become an impediment because the staff cannot see what's going on in both areas. The wall needs to come down not only here, but also in the other building too.
Other pressing needs are repaving our parking lot and new sidewalks at our Oak Street campus. We have recently installed a new client software system that increases the efficiency of our operations. But to maximize the use of this software, we need additional computers for our staff. Chairs for our dining room need to be reupholstered. This is more than just for cosmetic purposes. Rips in the fabric such as these can collect food scraps, creating a health concern. Some chairs also need to be re-glued. Some of the furniture in our residential homes is getting old. This furniture has to be especially sturdy to support clients with physical disabilities or who are aging. There are also some quality of life enhancements which we feel are very important for our clients. Many of our clients have little or no money for discretionary spending. We have a fund that can provide a few dollars for a night at the movies, for example. We would like to add a patio to our cottage and build a deck at our Prairie House residential home to give our clients the opportunity to sit outside on a nice summer evening to watch the world go by. To help fill the $2,000 gap, get our needed renovations underway, and provide for other items and services, we ask for your financial support that will allow us to continue to provide high-quality service to our clients.